Horticulture, fashion and craft. Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. My name is Oti. I create content on sewing tutorials and turban cap. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. In today's tutorial, I will be showing us on how to make the front pleated turban cap. It is very easy to make. The material that I'll be using is called raw silk. This is the non-stretchy raw silk. It is not stretchy at all, as you can see. So I'm going to be cutting the amount of fabric that I'll be using. I have 1 yard with me, so I'll be cutting the amount of fabric that I'll be using. I'm cutting 25 inches for my head circumference by 30 inches. This is the wrong side of the fabric. The very first thing I will do, I will take to my sewing machine, I'll fold in half an inch. After that, I'm going to fold in 1 inch. Then I will take to my sewing machine, I'm going to sew a straight stitch. I've sewn it, as you can see. So the next thing to do, I'll flip it to the right side. This is the right side of the fabric. So the next step is to start pleating on each other. How do we do that? So what I will do is I'm going to pinch on the left, I'll pinch on the right like so. Then I'll fold it in such a way that it's going to cover this stitch line, the first stitch line. I'm going to fold the next pleating and make sure that it covers the first stitch line like so. Then I'll smoothen it with my hand. Then I'll take to my sewing machine. I'm going to sew a straight stitch. Let me pin it down. I've sewn it, as you can see. This is the first stitch line. I pleat the second one to cover the first stitch line, as you can see. So the next thing to do, I'm going to fold in another pleat and I will make sure that it will cover this second stitch line. Another important thing is make sure that the space aligns together. If you are leaving half an inch, make sure that it is half an inch throughout. If you are leaving 3/4 of an inch, make sure that it is 3/4 of an inch throughout. So I'm going to pin it down. Another thing I do is before I sew, I will give it a good press. It will be nice and flat. So I'm going to continue with this process till I get to my desired pleats. I'm going to be pleating about 5 to 6 steps. I'll quickly pleat them and show us the next step to take. I've sewn it, as you can see, and I've given it a good press. I pleat about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put this aside for now. So I'll take my remaining fabric, I'm going to cut out fabric that I'll be using for the design. I'm going to measure same edge circumference 25 inches by 8.5 inches. Eight and a half inches. So I'm going to cut it out. I always like to cut out this selvage first. This is the right side of the fabric. I'm going to fold it into two, like so. Then I'm going to stitch it down with half an inch straight down. I'll quickly do that and show us the next step to take. I've sewn it with half an inch, so I'm going to turn it inside out. You will measure the length of your fabric. I have 25 inches. If I'm cutting on the foam, I'm going to reduce it by 2 inches and I'm going to cut 23 inches. Then, whatever the width of your fabric is, I have 4 inches here. If I'm cutting on the foam, I'm going to be cutting 3.5 inches. I'm going to reduce it by half an inch. So the length, I'll be cutting 23 inches. By 3.5 inches. Then I'll pass it through the loop. It's very easy. Next thing to do, you will take the base, you will place the design on it like so. You will use it to cover this last seam line. Then I will take to my sewing machine. I'm going to stitch it down at the edge. As you can see, there is space. As you can see, my foam did not reach the edge. This other side, the foam did not reach the edge. That's the essence of reducing the foam by 2 inches. So I'm going to place it like so. I'll use it to cover this last seam. Then I'll take to my sewing machine. I'm going to stitch it down on the left. I'll move to the right. I'll stitch it down as well. Then I'll show us the next step to take. I've sewn it, as you can see. I've stitched it down. I'm going to put this aside. We'll be needing 2 straps that we will use to tie the cap at the back of our head, because this is a non-stretchy fabric, so we'll be needing straps for it. The measurement that I have is 13 inches by 4 inches, and I have this into 2 places, the same measurement. So I'm going to take to my sewing machine. I'm going to fold it into 2. I'm going to take to my sewing machine. I'll curve it like so. and sew half an inch straight down. Then I will turn it to the right side. I'll do the same thing. This is the right side of the fabric. I'll fold it into two. I'll curve it like so. And I'll sew half inch straight down. I'll quickly do that and show us the next step to take. I've sewn it, as you can see. So I'm going to trim this excess out. Then I'll turn it inside out. I'm going to give it a good press to make it nice and flat. I've given it a good press, as you can see. It is nice and flat. So I'm going to place it at the edge this way. I'll place the other one too at the edge this way. Then I'm going to stitch it down. I'm going to measure about 3 inches. So I'll start my sewing from here, half an inch. I'm going to sew it like so and curve it the normal way we normally curve our turban cap. So I'll take to my sewing machine. I'm going to sew it like so and curve it. After that, I'm going to trim this excess fabric. Then I'll show us the next step to take. The next thing to do, with my needle and thread, I'm going to sew loose stitches. The normal way we normally sew our loose stitches on turban cap. If you've been following all my videos, you'll be used to this by now. I'm going to stop at where we started sewing from. I'm going to sew it backward again to secure the gathers properly. Our turban cap is set. Turn it to the right side. Let me wear it on my dummy head and show us how it looks. This is the final look, guys. As you can see, it is very easy to make. This design is adjustable. You can bring it forward or you can push it backward. Depends on how you like it. This is the back view. When you tie the strap at the back, you will tucking it in. You can decide to design it with applique or you leave it like that, but I'm going to design mine with applique to give it a different look. This applique is absolutely optional. If you don't have this applique, you can add stones to it or even wear it plain like that. I use oil gum. I applied oil gum at the back of the applique and I place it on the cap and I press it down for some seconds too. We've come to an end of today's tutorial, guys. If you find my tutorial helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you've not done so. I upload weekly tutorial on my channel. Also remember to click on the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you will be notified. Until I come your way next, please stay safe and remain blessed. Love you all. Bye.